Hi, I'm Sailor Minimoon, and I'm Sailor Pluto, and today we're gonna talk about well, this is something that this is something that used to be a big thing on YouTube, and it probably is a big thing on YouTube. Now, a long time ago on YouTube, there is this hang up. I guess it probably does happen from time to time, not as much as it once did. Films getting stuck in forlaying. So back in the day, when there was web shooter, when you had the web shooter tool, and you had the uploader tool, which has been around, you would back in the day that would be a thing. There were only two ways to make a film on YouTube: either web shooter tool, which is gone now, and the uploader, which is still around but has shifted names. And the film would get stuck in forlaying. Now, the downside is if that would happen and it was web shooter taker and the web shooter tool, web shooter taker tool, then if you would throw your you would end the film was gone. But if it was the uploader, you could just re-upload again, go through the whole thing again. And over the years, many folks have come up with many thoughts and beliefs to why films get stuck in forlaying. Some of them are guilty. Some of them is it has to do with the firewall and sandbox. Which, be earnest, every reckoner out there has a firewall and a sandbox. Well, some do, some don't. But unless you go through and shift your sandbox or your sandbox settings and your firewall settings, which some folks cannot do, why would that be playing? Why would that do that? That would stop the uploading. You see, all of this, your interweb, your evilware stronghold tool, your sandbox, your firewall, that would all stop the film from uploading. It would not stop the film from forlaying. But, that's what some folks like to believe. You know? You're right, Sailor Minimoon. Those folks out there that like to say, "Oh, they know everything about the Reckoner." Well, you need to have some wisdom on the webstead too. You know, your firewall, your sandbox, your evilware stronghold tool, that would stop the film from uploading. It wouldn't stop the film from forlaying. So the hang up would be on YouTube's side when it happens. Now, before feedback was offshooted to YouTube, there was really no way you could tell them. Yeah, there were the sheets, the help sheets, but really all that kind of did was just tell you that you weren't alone when it came to your hang up or bind. And sometimes the folks at YouTube would come on and read it and tell you they were going to work on it, and other times they would not. So, or you just had to hope that it would heal its own self. Now, even though the web shooter tool has been gone since 2050 YL with no warning, I may say, the uploader tool has still been around, even though now it actually works right beside the YouTube live stream tool. Now, some folks out there might say, "Oh well," some folks out there might say, "Oh, it's your standard." Now, there are haters out there, folks that don't like folks' work. They will say, "Oh, it's not living up to your standard." Now, my standard is my film to be uploaded and be forlayed and be playable. That is not only my standard, but the standard of everyone who makes a film on YouTube, I would think. So at the end of the day, it needs to be the standard of the haters. They must be the ones that probably would be, they want to guilt you for getting irked and mad and angry and wretched over it. They say it's a free webstead and you can't get mad at it. YouTube never says it, but the haters do. The only downside is the haters and these folks who think they're being helpful. They don't even know why films get stuck in Forlaid. It has something to do with YouTube, and on YouTube's side, it had nothing to do with your interweb, your evilware stronghold tool, your sandbox, your firewall, and whatever things that some folks might want to gild it on. It was a thing back in the day. For a long time, films would get stuck in Forlaid. And it didn't care if it was the YouTube uploader, the YouTube webcam taker. It didn't care which tool you were working with. There were only two tools at the time. They would get stuck in Forlaid. And at the end of the day, I don't really think that happens on the YouTube live stream tool, but it did happen on the Google Hangout tool when it was around. Now, still to this day, we don't know why films get stuck in Forlaid. There's a lot of thoughts and beliefs that like to gild it on everyone else's stuff. Yeah, before we end this film, Sailor Pluto, there's a lot of folks out there that like to gild it on your sandbox, your firewall, your evilware stronghold tool, your interweb. Well, all of that would only stop the film from uploading. That would make the film get stuck in uploading. But uploading and forlaying are two unlike things. Once the film is uploaded, whatever your reckoner no longer is working with the webstead's reckoner or whatever. That's all on the webstead to forlay the film. And the only things that would stop a film from being uploaded, from being forlayed, would be A, you weren't in good standing anymore. B, you couldn't go beyond fifth between minutes. Fifth between whatever. Now, for a lot of folks, that might be the only grounds to why their film will get stuck in forlaying. But if you're in good standing of YouTube and you can go beyond fifth between half span of your film, then you can't gild it on the sandbox, firewall, evilware stronghold tool, your interweb, if the uploading is going up good. Still this day, films do get stuck in forlaying from time to time, and the feedback tool tends to be the only way that some folks can get their work forlayed. Other times you just gotta re-upload it and go through the whole thing again. So that's it for us. If you like this film, follow us here at Sailor Moon for Life. Or watch the last one we made here yesterday. I'm Sailor Mini Moon. I'm Sailor Pluto. Hope you like this film. Bye.